Hi, welcome to today's Piece of Peace. I've been prompting everyone to write down their top 10 gratitudes. Got that from a young lady who is trying to keep her mindset in gratitude as well. And I started off my time with God this morning just expressing some of the gratitude I have. And I love mornings, so I was thanking God for a new day. Like we get another day. If you woke up today, you get another day. It was good. I said I especially love mornings. I said there was this tiny little bird on top of the tree that I saw out the window, and it had these beautiful little songs that were coming out of it, and I always had gratitude for that. And yesterday my husband and I and our neighbors had put on a bit of a prom for my son and his girlfriend and their friends, so we could get them a bit apart on a table outside, and we served them dinner a little bit earlier than dinner time and had like a picture taking area with the word prom, with prom props and stuff above it. But it was such a delightful time watching our neighbors just help us serve, and seeing the delight in these high school students that many of them had graduated, and they had all bought their dresses for prom and not a chance to use them. And so we did an outdoor prom yesterday, and it was so much fun. So nice to bless them when so much had been taken away this year, without commencements and without end of the year parties and without grad parties that were all happening in June. And with that, I was thanking God for our neighbors and all those. They have such servant hearts, and it was such a beautiful day with them and mixing. It was very humid yesterday here where I live, in mixing watermelon and raspberry and blending that for drinks for them, and dressed up in my maid outfit, or my waitress outfit, so I could bring them their food and making them Italian, or serving them Italian, I should say. And lots of gratitude. Just we had a storm come through. I love watching that, and we drive around a little bit and look at the clouds and just focusing on all that God is blessing me with, and enjoying the sweetest things of life, relationships. Yeah. So that takes us in. That took me into the devotion today, Our Daily Bread. And we're going to be reading out of 2 Kings 5, 9 through 14. And I'm going to give you a precursor on what's been going on. Naaman is like a commander of the army and the king of Aram. And they had gone to battle, and God had given favor to Naaman. But Naaman was a leper. And so one of these young girls, which was a servant girl to Naaman's wife, this was a girl from Israel, and she said to her mistress, "If only my master would see the prophet who is in Samaria, he would cure him of his leprosy." And so Naaman went to the king of Aram and said, I want to try to go to this other land and see if this particular man could heal me of leprosy. And they sent letter to the king of that land, and the king of Israel read the letter and was like, tore his robe in a sign of like, I'm not a healer, and how can you send this man here for me to heal him? And but Elisha, one of the prophets at the time, said, bring him to me, So I'm going to pick up in 9 here. That's sort of a backdrop. Pick up in 9. It says, so Naaman went with his horses and the chariots and stopped at the door of Elisha's house. And Elisha sent a messenger to say to him, go wash yourself. He didn't even go to the door himself. Sent a messenger to the door. He said, Elisha sent a messenger to say to him, go wash yourself 7 times in the Jordan, and your flesh will be restored, and you will be cleansed. Very simplistic. Not even hearing it from Elisha's voice or from Elisha's mouth. But Naaman went away angry. and said, I thought that he would surely come out to me and stand and call on the name of his God, wave his hand over the spot, and cure me of my leprosy. So Naaman had an expectation of what it should look like for his healing. Keep that in mind. Naaman had an expectation. But Naaman went away angry. I thought that he would surely come out to me and stand and call on the name of his God and wave his hand over my spot and cure me of my leprosy. Are not Abana and Pharpar, the rivers of Damascus, better than any of the waters of Israel? Couldn't I wash in them and be cleansed? So he turned and went off in a rage, and Naaman's servants went to him and said, My father, if the prophet had told you to do some great thing, would you not have done it? How much more than when he tells you, wash and be cleansed? So he went down and dipped himself in the Jordan 7 times, and as the man of God told him, and his flesh was restored and became like that of a young boy. I'll read the devotion now. It's titled Simply Ask, and it's written by Patricia Rabin. She starts with a little verse out of Isaiah 65:24. Before they call, I will answer. And then she goes into the devotion. Her doctors said her detached retinas couldn't be repaired. But after living without sight for 15 years, learning Braille, and using a cane and a service dog, a Montana woman's life changed when her husband asked another eye doctor a simple question. Could she be helped? The answer was yes, and the doctor discovered the woman had a common eye condition, cataracts, which the doctor removed from her right eye. And when the eye patch came off the next day, her vision was 20/20. A second surgery for the left eye met with equal success. A simple question also changed the life of Naaman, a powerful military man with leprosy. But Naaman raged arrogantly at the prophet Elisha's instructions to wash yourself 7 times in the Jordan, and your flesh would be restored. Naaman's servant, however, asked the military leader a simple question. If the prophet had told you to do some great thing, would you have not have done it? Would you not have done it? Persuaded, Naaman washed, and his flesh was restored and became clean. In our lives, sometimes we struggle with a problem because we won't ask God, will you help? Should I go? Will you lead? He doesn't require complicated questions from us to help. Before they call, I will answer. That was out of the Isaiah script. God promised his people, before they call, I will answer. So, today, simply ask him. How complex are your prayers? This is her charge. How complex are your prayer requests? What life problem can you offer to God in a simple prayer? And her prayer was, Dear Heavenly Father, when life feels complicated and difficult, thank you for your promise to hear even my simple prayer. I want to go back and point out this. In our lives, sometimes we struggle with problems because we won't ask. These are some of the questions. Will you help? Should I go? Will you lead? Sometimes throughout our days, we're just functioning on our own. And how much of what we do are we including him or asking him? Lord, do you want my hand to be put to this? Lord, is this thought from you? Lord, what would you have me do here? When we're not including him and we're not asking, we're doing a lot of things on our own. Start practicing his presence as if he were with you throughout the day. Start asking him questions like, this seems overwhelming to me. Will you help me? He says, I can do all things through God who strengthens me. Even down to, Lord, do you want me to have this to eat? Or would you rather I not? Do you want me to do this right now or later? Should I do that before I do this? Should I even do this? Those are questions where you incorporate him and get into that close place with him. Just ask, and you'll start to hear him. Ask. Start dialoguing with him throughout your day. It's not a morning time devotion where that's the only time you give to your king. He is in relationship with you. And to ignore him would be like to be ignoring the person that's in the same room with you at the dinner table. Try to keep him present. Be present to his presence. He hasn't left. He's there. But how do we practice staying in his presence? Engage in dialogue with him. Ask him questions. Ask him for help. He says he already hears you. He already hears you before you speak. As you're speaking, he understands what you're saying. He already knows what you're going to say before you say it. But he wants you to engage in this relationship with him. And you'll start to see how much more he's always been there. And you never paid attention to it. Brings us to Jesus Calling, Sarah Young's book. Download her app. You can order it online. She writes from the perspective of God speaking to us. As you get out of bed in the morning, be aware of my presence. You may not be thinking clearly yet, but I am. Your early morning thoughts tend to be anxious ones until you get connected with me. Invite me into your thoughts by whispering my name, Jesus. Suddenly your day brightens and feels more user-friendly. You cannot dread a day that is vibrant with my presence. You gain confidence through knowing that I am with you, that you face nothing alone. You face nothing alone. Anxiety stems from asking the wrong questions. If such and such happens, can I handle it? The true question is not whether you can cope with whatever happens, but whether you and I together can handle anything that occurs. It is this you and I together factor that gives you confidence to face the day cheerfully. The you and I together factor. There's our piece of peace today. God's blessing.